Welcome back to the trade review. We're going to break down exactly what's going on and let's just jump into it. I thought we'd have a little bit clearer markets. I thought this would be a little bit of a smoother time, but what was I doing? Why was I thinking? The problem is we got a lot of volatility in the market and it's pretty clear where the source is coming from. It's coming from all of the nonsense, right? All the tariff talks. This stuff is influencing what we got going on. Today was small green day. I made like 20 bucks, right? But we're going to break down a little bit of what I saw with today and we'll go over my trades. So overall, 17 bucks. We'll go through these one by one because essentially I was looking for a pretty simple framework. We'll hop over here and this first trade right here, I'm pretty much looking for a sweep of that low, right? I'm expecting maybe a run to the data high. It seemed more than reasonable that we would reach for that data high. It was close enough. It created these relatively equal highs right here. When I start to see, levels created and they're like layered essentially, I like to think that that might be a reasonable target to reach for. Oh, but I was wrong. So when we're breaking down this chart, I want you to see something really quickly. Look right here. These charts look awful, so I'm going to make them look a little bit easier to read. I saw what I thought was a good entry. At the time, it looked like a good entry, right? Go right here. We see this, boom, right here. And if you're interested in seeing me execute these live, you can go and actually watch the full-length live stream that I posted. I trade every day live. At least 3 times a week, but right now I'm doing it every day. So if you actually want to trade with me, hit the description. There's a free trial. You can find it through my website. But back to the trade. I thought this gap right here would invert. It cleared it. It got above. It was nice, in my opinion at least. And it just invalidated really, really quick, which, I can't complain. 39 points in, 16 seconds. That's nice. So my R multiple, you can kind of figure it out. But basically, if I'm getting stopped right here at 633, so you go 19, 633, and my target is going to be that 19,800 basically. Sorry, 663. So took a 1 hour stop, right? 1 hour stop. I was aiming for a little over 2 hour, 800. This is basically the data high. I felt that that would be an easy target with these relatively equal highs right there. So that was the trade I was looking for. It did not materialize in the way that I wanted it to, unfortunately. So that was my first trade at 6:52 or 9:52 Eastern. My next trade shortly after, based on this, I thought, once again, here I go thinking, right? But if we go and look at this, it looks reasonable. We had a couple confluences here. This was a decent area to get long, in my opinion. There was a reason for all of this. So you can see we get the WAP, right? The VWAP. It aligned relatively decent. I guess you could just take my word for it because it's not popping up. But yeah, you should be able to see it. But I guess not. So it basically was right here. It was under this low. So you got right here, you get a little inversion, you get the sweep, you get the second sweep. So I was thinking, yeah, maybe this is the time that it works, right? Enter here, reach for that same target up there. I was wrong. I got wicked out. Done. Game over. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to do anything with it. I was tired of getting abused. However, we go to the next trade. We'll go through these one by one real quick and then we'll hop onto the charts. Get you guys out of here after showing you essentially what I did so that way you can learn from my lessons. And if this type of content helps you, leave a comment. Let me know. If I'm sitting here talking to myself, let me know. If you think a friend can benefit from this, let them know. But with this trade, my exit efficiency wasn't the greatest. Obviously I was up a little bit more than $36 on this, but where am I going to sell? Where am I going to exit? Right? I don't even get the opportunity to exit here. Maybe. Now, if we get into the weeds of this trade, the idea is essentially this. We got above that. We created the market structure shift. So the idea was I would just ride this momentum to the high. Not today. At least not right then. We'll get into where the prices, where NQ is right now. But this created this failure swing at 730. 19730 area. Unfortunate, but it's a reality. And I got trailed below that candle. Could I have potentially got trailed below here? Maybe, but like we're splitting hairs. It's not much you could do. So partial profit on that one. We'll go into this next trade. Boom, boom. And then we had a $90 loss. So we're up 17 bucks on the day. This one, oh yeah, I see what I did. This one, I was thinking maybe this was the part where we start to rally, right? Looking at this base, looking at this gap, looking at the 5 minutes specifically. I thought this 5 minute was going to start to, follow through up here. Just didn't happen. This is pretty much a regular stop. The rest were kind of smaller, give or take. But this one seemed decent. And I'm targeting up here, so the risk reward is fine. We're talking like 3R at this point. Didn't work. Waited for a little bit, set some alerts. Came back to the charts here, and this is kind of where I got joked around, right? Clean this up. And basically what I was looking at was this. Just this right here. That opening price, there was an inversion on the other side. If you look at the 5 minute, yeah, inversion, But today's been one of those days where it just likes digging a little too deep. So you're not going to trail your stop. You don't get to. So that's pretty much what happened. And my target number one on this trade is going to be right here, this 561. Reasonable target, right? Reasonable target. It just trailed me out. It like basically bottom ticked me. And then my second target was just right there. So it's been one of those days. It's been one of those days. I feel like this trade was a pretty solid idea based on, obviously I'm going to pull up the hourly right here and we can see what the overall logic was. But the idea was, get long versus this right here. That was the area I was looking at. This is like a support, all of that to rally higher and then ultimately reach for this at some point. This would be the high of day target and you have relatively equal highs there. So the draw on liquidity for the highs is pretty clear. It just didn't work, at least in the time span or, with the expectations that I had. So I was trailed out on this trade, quite unfortunately, to be honest, quite unfortunately. But, I don't really think I did anything terrible there. I would have expected it to move a little quicker, just a little bit. But regardless, go to the last execution I took for today. Just got trailed. So what did I see here? Why did I re-enter? Well, the logic was simple and we'll make it really easy to see. I saw this inversion right here and I saw that price was respecting it. So I waited and waited and waited. Basically 2 minutes. So I got stopped, waited, and I saw this candle closure. It looked nice. It immediately pushed up, which is fantastic because I was only going to take it to right there. And it pulls back. Hell, I even think I had my target right here. And it just pulls back. So, yeah, that's the difference. And then it stops me break even, basically, 24 bucks. One of those days. I'm not asking for much, just trying to scalp this real quick on this, and it does not have any follow through. And that's one of the problems with a market like this. You do not want to see trends that just grind. So we'll look at some of the charts and we'll go over this. This is something that I find personally quite annoying. Honestly, quite annoying. It's like, yes, it moves higher, but the amount of times that the 1 minute chart will just like kind of whip back and forth, like the candle opens and then it goes up and then it whips and then it'll go up and then it'll whip and then it'll go up and then it whips back down one more time and then it goes to the highs. Very, very, very annoying action. It's one of those trends, like stuff like this I find very difficult because it'll stop you and then it doesn't give you an entry to buy on a pullback really ever, and then it'll just stab and then just stab and it just keeps grabbing stops. That's essentially what's going on. People are trying to get long in here, and anytime you get these tight channels, it's just for a fact people are struggling to stay positioned because people are going to try to trail this tightly because, well, I mean, we're talking 390 to 800, and now is my chart messed up? I don't know. I think there's a setting that they've been changing on this. Should be regular. Your chart should be on regular, not log. I don't know why it's on log. Ridiculous. Yeah, but these tight trends, these channels, if you will, very annoying. And did it even sweep this high? Let's be real. Did we not sweep this high? Let's see. Just barely? Yeah, just, oh my goodness, by like 2 ticks, we swept that high. And we're just leaving this. We're leaving that for later, it seems. One of those days, if you look at the hourly, again, it's obviously you would think, yeah, you reject from up here and sell off. That's fine. You can look for that trade. Absolutely. You know, I would have figured we'd reach maybe a little bit higher, maybe into this gap up here, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. All you can do is look at what happened and understand maybe you did everything right and it just didn't work in your favor. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with the trades I took. You know, I think this setup right here, based on the context that I provided with the, you know, the bullish gap and all this, you know, the sweep of the lows, I feel like that trade that I outlined on stream, I feel like it worked. I think it would have worked, is what I'm getting at. I think it would have worked fine, just not today. So I think it's more than reasonable to expect price to kind of rip for this and then potentially sell off. But this whole just chop, 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 there's not really a trade there for me. Maybe, you know, yeah, there's really not a trade there for me. Maybe this short right here. I did mention this on stream right here to this. That might have worked, but if I held for anything longer than that, it would have wicked me out. Like I had many people tell me they got wicked out right there. Giant wick, giant wick. It's just very destructive price action. Just chop, 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 shoot. Like, not my favorite. I would prefer cleaner expansions, less grind, less back and forth. The candlestick dynamics are just very choppy right now. I don't know how else to put it. I don't think, like, if you try to trail stops in this market, you're just going to get stopped. That's about it. So, yeah, just a quick trade recap. Hope you guys enjoy. If you have questions, hit me up. Leave a comment. If you find value in this stuff, subscribe, share with a friend, leave a like, and we'll talk again soon.